Dixon, iron for justice for the law.
He rides from Texas to enforce the law.
Well, people look at me and say, Roy, is you the law?
He rides from Texas to enforce the law.
Okay, let me tell you where we're at in this red flag law discussion. The problem here is the protection of the public. Let's agree with that. We don't want people walking into Walmart and shooting at the customers anymore. We don't want people doing that kind of thing. Now, what happens here, and this always comes about, and Chappie, one of my writers, addressed this. You can see it on top of the deal. But the problem here is not the fact that some people don't need to be having a gun. The problem is the Democrats and a lot of people think, well, the government's going to help us. They're going to pass a law. They're going to pass a law that's going to encompass the entire nation. It's going to have rigid rules. Somebody calls the police or the CPS or whoever and says, oh, George over there is just too crazy and he doesn't need to have a gun and we're all concerned and all that. The police roll up under the federal law and they take the man's guns. Now, here's the way it's supposed to work. You have to govern from the ground up, okay? Too many times we expect the national government to take care of all our problems, from regulating the milk to regulating our guns, okay? Whenever you have that, you always have chaos in the end. Just like everybody wants to do something about the immigration, and one of the top stories today was some guy, and he was mentally ill, and he was crazy and everything else. He had a string of little minor offenses against him and everything. He was 41 years old. He had never been to Iraq. He was born in, I think, Greece when he was there, and come to the United States when he was 1 year old and everything. Lived in Detroit his entire life. And they deported his diabetic self to Iraq. Okay. He died. Couldn't get medical attention and couldn't make a living, couldn't eat, and he just died. Okay. So that's the government getting involved with their regulations. All right. If you have a police department or a sheriff's department, and let's say you got an old man that's cantankerous. Everybody knows he's cantankerous. He yells at teenage girls who walk across his lawn on the way home from high school. He grunts at people when he checks his mail and all that. Everybody knows he's cantankerous. Everybody knows he's got a rifle, he's got a shotgun, he's got a pistol in his house. But basically, nobody's worried about him. The police have met him on several occasions, at the store and all that, and they know he's a cantankerous old man. Right. Now, at the other end of the street, you have a young man who's always going to the bar and getting in arguments about wanting to shoot all the Mexicans. He doesn't like black people. He doesn't like any of them. He's all kinds of people he don't like. He's had several altercations where the police were called and had to intervene and all that. And he's got himself an AR-15. And it comes down to the chief of police or the sheriff to say, maybe this guy don't need to be armed. And the police themselves or the sheriff or something, they intervene and they say, look, you can't have no guns. Now, I know that's wrong. There's anti-Second Amendment and all that. But neighborhood common sense. Neighborhood common sense. If you've got somebody who is truly a danger, okay? And a danger could be, like I said, the cantankerous old man is not a danger, right? A cantankerous old man found a little girl lost and wandering in the neighborhood and got her home. And he grunted at the parents when they opened the door and said, you need to watch your kid a little bit better. But he helped the kid, okay? As opposed to the 21-year-old at the other end of the street that nobody will look directly in the eye because they know he's dangerous, okay? This is a touchy subject. It's hard to get around because we dance around that Second Amendment, the right of the people, to be armed can't be infringed, okay? And that, I agree with Chappie 100%. You can't totally disarm the whole nation. You can't have everybody's guns picked up turn your guns over for the safety. That'll stop all the shootings. It won't stop the shootings. It didn't stop the shootings in Mexico. It didn't stop the shootings in Chicago. And it dang sure won't stop the shootings in Texas. We've got to show common sense. Heading off these guys at the pass is a difficult task. But I'll tell you what, like I did the article last week of the 4 different types of mass shooters, they all have one thing in common that I didn't even notice. They walk across a parking lot. The one yesterday, and there was an incident yesterday in Missouri where some punk got up and he put on tactical gear and he had a automatic rifle. I think he had 100 rounds of ammunition. He stomps into a Walmart. Now, on one side of the question, he was doing a gun walk. And you had people say, well, he had every bit of right to do that. On the other side of the question, we just had a Walmart shooting in El Paso. Here's a guy all suited up with a gun and all this ammunition. The manager of the Walmart showed common sense. He pulled the fire alarm. Everybody ran out of the building because there was a fire alarm going off. And the police showed up and said, what are you doing? Put the gun down. And he did, and he got arrested. I don't think the case will go anywhere because he really didn't break any Missouri laws by doing it. But, number one, he alarmed all these people. Number two, he made Open Carry Texas look bad. All the good members of Open Carry Texas, all the people who are responsible gun owners and everything, well, now we look bad because when the population looks at this idiot, okay, and they see what he did, they see us.
Video.